Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Comic Swag. Now, today I got a decent sized haul for you guys because it's a few books I had on my list, series I needed to finish, and so forth. And I just had it sitting there for the right time, and then bam, deals popped up. So I was like, hey, let me buy them right now. So the deals came out all at once. So I had to order everything pretty much in the same like 2 weeks or so because we had some pretty good sized discounts, right? So I can't wait to show you what I got. A lot of this was from in stock trades. Some of this was also from, I believe, Amazon and eBay. So I'll kind of just explain where I got each one as we open these packages. This was from Amazon, I believe. This is from Rockwood Books. First time purchasing from them. It's a hardcover, so usually when it comes to hardcovers, I like them to be shipped in boxes. But for the most part, when I have gotten these types of envelopes that has all this, they have usually arrived in pretty good shape. So let's see. I think I'll try that. I got this book for in a minute. Let me see. Let me see what book it is first of all. It's already all jacked up right here. I can see. All right. Check this out. All right, look at that whole thing right there. It's pretty jacked. Let's see. Hopefully, it doesn't affect the way the spine holds up. But yeah, so this is Transformers Volume 5. It's technically, I guess, Phase 4. Flip through a few of the pages here. The art on this one right here doesn't look too bad. It looks pretty cool. Okay, so yeah, that's some of the... Okay, so yeah, that's some of the artwork right there. Looks kind of like a cartoony feel to it. But with Transformers, it goes back and forth depending on, you constantly have different writers and different artists. Or like this page right here. I don't know what character that is. I'm not too familiar with the names of the Transformers and the... What is it? The Decepticons and the Autobots. I know a few of them, but that's why I'm gonna be reading it. Like I know the Optimus. Everybody knows Optimus. So that's why I'm gonna read this to kind of get a little bit more into the lore of Transformers and see how these books hold up. All right, so I flipped through the pages and the binding's fine. I was worried about how the binding was and if it held the pages together good and whatnot. Because when the binding's affected, it doesn't open right, or sometimes it could be coming off the pages. Looks fine. It's just on the outside, it looks like shit. It's damaged, but oh well. I did get a pretty good price on that one. I believe it was $20 plus for shipping and taxes and all that. Usually these books, they go for around 35 plus taxes. They go close to 40 after taxes, right? So I still got a pretty good deal considering the situation and price and whatnot. Next book I got here is this is from Phase 3, Volume 3. It said new. I believe it probably was new when they shipped it. Although I don't know because it wasn't shrink wrapped. But now it has a few bumps because the packaging sucked. But luckily it's in pretty good shape for the most part. This is the cover of it. Bam, look at this bad boy. I mean, wait a minute. He's not a bad boy. He's a good boy. Look, Autoboss. He's a good guy, man. This is the back of it right there. And let's zoom in on this one. This is the cover. Now these you can see it has like a gloss right here on the logo and on his eyes. They're glossy. The rest of it is a matte finish. One thing I noticed from Phase 3, also the letters glossy, and the Phase 4, these are much better built. The binding, the book itself is heavier, sturdier. The pages are better. The end pages are better. And even this, the design, when you first open the book, look at this. So when you first open it, it tells you the credits for everybody. Then it tells you here, the like, oh, issue 2 starts here. Annual 2017 starts on this page. This issue, the light issue 10 starts on this page. See how it tells you this, the table of contents? On the other book, even this is way better on this one than it is on that one. It's just way better design. The quality on the last phase, being Phase 4, really dropped as far as the build. But the stories, I have no idea because I have not read them. Just the build of it, these are far better, the Phase 2 and 3. Look at that right there. Completely different art here from that other story. Alright, so I can't really talk much about them because, like I said, I'm not too familiar with the characters themselves and so forth. Okay, here's the next book. See this? This is how you package a book. You put all this bubble wrap. This is how I package books when I sell them. Especially when it's these type of books that are like comic books, because we all know these sometimes go up in price, and as a collector you're picky about the condition. Is it in good condition? Is it damaged? This was packaged real well. Like I said, this was packaged real well compared to that other book I got. I got it in a similar box, but with no padding whatsoever, so the book was just bouncing around. Now this has damage here, but I was aware of this before I bought it. The seller let me know, like, look, it has this damage, and had a few other scuffs over here. No big deal. They sold it to me for 35 bucks total. Obviously it's another collector, so no taxes or anything like that, right? And this one usually goes for around 60. I've seen it around 60. So for 35 bucks, and it has this. So basically they dropped about, you could say $20 or so because of the damage. I was like, yeah, I'm willing to pay that and deal with a little bit of damage, right? It also has this overstock mark. So once they have this dot on the bottom, an overstock mark, that means that person probably bought it pretty cheap. Because when they have that at a warehouse, they put that dot, that means all these books, just sell them dirt cheap and get them out of here. So this is Phase 2, Volume 1. Again, look at all these other... Oh, look, it has more damage here too. But again, it's just the corners. It doesn't really affect the reading experience. And let's see this one, Phase 2, how the table of contents is on these. On the other one was Phase 3. Let's see. Oh, wow, this one doesn't have a... Huh, these don't have a table of contents. It just says here, Phase 2, Volume 1. Has this here. Oh, yeah, it does have a table of contents. Just tells you this. The Death of Optimus, More Than Meets the Eye, Volumes 1 to 3. Robots in Disguise, Volumes 1 through 5. Then back to More Than Meets the Eye, Volumes 4 through 5. And then back to Robots in Disguise, Volume 6. Okay, so it goes back and forth between one series, the other, then one, then back to the other, back and forth. Okay, so I guess we'll see when we read it if that mapping makes sense. They probably put it in that order for a reason. Either way, as long as we get the complete story arcs, we don't just stop them halfway and jump to the other series. Because when it does that, it gets very convoluted and confusing. Just give me the whole story before you start another story, right? Some of the art. Alright, it's pretty cool. Let's get to the next book. Alright, the next books, we're going to start getting to some omnibuses now. This one I bought at Hamilton Books. This book is kind of hard to find already. And in Hamilton Books, they're more known for movies and like novels, right? So comic collectors don't really search that website. Hence why they still had a lot of copies of this book at that website. And everywhere else that comic collectors go to, those websites are all sold out, right? And here there's still copies there because people don't know to look there. Even myself, I was told by another collector. And that book is Wonder Woman Volume 2 by George Perez. So there's 5 of these. I have Volume 1 and 5. The other 2, 3, and 4 have been kind of hard to find. Luckily, they had this one at that website. It's $100 cover price, but they had it for like 50 bucks. So pretty good deal. Look at her back here. Looks freaking gorgeous. Love it. Love it. Love George Perez's art right there. Looks awesome. And this covers issues 25 to 45. So I believe with the 5 books, I'll be close to like 120th issue, somewhere around there. Now, I've always loved George Perez's art. I always thought it was solid, even his storytelling and so forth. But he usually worked for DC, and I don't read a lot of DC comics, so I never read a lot of it, right? I read some of the Teen Titans I really enjoyed. I haven't read much Wonder Woman. I read a little bit. I like what I read, and people swear by that series that it's probably the best Wonder Woman series. Again, I have not read any Wonder Woman, really. A few issues of the George Perez run, which I did enjoy. So we'll see. Now that I have Volume 1 and 2, I can read up to issue 45, and we'll see how good the stories are. Because I have read other Wonder Woman, which to me came off kind of like very bashing men a lot. So I was like it wasn't my thing. Again, it's probably might not be the demographic for it, but that was a different writer. It was I was reading some Messner and Loeb Wonder Woman, and I was reading I read some other Wonder Woman, which I didn't enjoy. What I have read from the Perez run though, I did like. So I think for me this is the one to start with. The next one I would want to check out is probably the Rucka. Those two seem like the best ones from what I hear, right? So these next 2 books I had on my wish list for a minute. And I was like, they have high print runs. Not in a hurry to buy them right now. Just leave them there till I start making some more space, because I was slowly selling some books. I was like, once I make more shelf space, I'll make more orders, fill them up, right? And then they went on sale. They're normally 42% off on in-stock trades. They went to 60% off. So I was like, shit, that's a pretty good extra discount. Gotta order them now. So normally they go for about $78 on there. And right now they were at 50. So I was like, let's order them right now. First one was this one, Aliens, the Original Years, Volume 4. So this would finish off Aliens. This cover's pretty cool. I don't mind it. But it's not the cover I wanted. The one I wanted was a James Stokoe cover, which was an awesome cover. It's the cover to a comic called Dead Orbit, the graphic novel. And that one was still going for 77. So I was like, do I want to spend the extra 27 just for the cover? And I decided, nah, I'm just going to go ahead and save the money. Buy this one. The material inside's all going to be the same. So this one's kind of a big book, but the next one's even bigger. This is like about 1,000 pages. It's the material. So if you like Aliens, Aliens Part 1 and 2. I'm big fan of Part 2. I've seen Aliens 1. I've enjoyed it. I haven't seen it again in a long time, but Aliens 2 I have watched a good amount of times, probably at least like 6-7 times over the course of the years, right? And because that one has more action, and it's like you think they actually have a fighting chance against these aliens, because they come in with guns and with a bunch of soldiers taking these guys down. Part 1 was more horror, right? It was like a bunch of scientists. They discovered an alien. They're like, oh my god, we can't defend ourselves. We're not trained in that way, right? We weren't expecting an alien to be here, and they're all scared for their life, right? And he's killing them one by one. Part 2, again, a lot different. Like you feel like, yeah, they're gonna get these guys, because they're trained soldiers and there's no longer scientists. And these books, they kind of go back and forth. Some of them are about the science aspect, and then some of them are more action heavy, right? So you get a mixed bag. These what really does it too is the art on a lot of these. This one has some good stuff. It has the storyline Defiance, which is 12 issues by Brian Wood. Brian Wood is a solid artist. He does go a lot more for the slow-paced story than he does for action, which is like I have to read it first. It depends how long he drags out the story. Like you gotta have action in there too, right? So you have to have a good balance. Overall, though, I remember when I read like the first trade, meaning the first like 4 issues, I enjoyed it, the Defiance. So yeah, I can't wait to read the rest of the stuff that's in here as well. So any of you horror fans, let me know, or if you're Aliens fans, let me know as well. Can't wait to dig into this one. The next one that was on sale, also same cover price, $125, and it was at $50, is this one, Wolverine Volume 3. Yeah, I went with this cover. This is a Silvestri cover. They have a Jim Lee cover, which everyone was picking up. I like this cover more because he had like there's like this shark here, right? Like look, like it's swimming up, trying to eat him. Has a lot more action going on this cover. The Jim Lee one was just Wolverine standing, posing, looking at the viewer, right at the reader. So I was like, it didn't grab me. This one looked more interesting to me. It's a big chunky book. Look at that. Now even at cover price $125, for the amount of reading you're gonna get here, 1,200 pages. This will take me all month to read, right? So for $125, you're gonna get a month's worth of reading. Totally worth it. You get about 50 issues. Say you buy them at $3 in the store each issue, that would be $150. So you're not getting a bad deal here. And it's well built, the book, and you get extras and bonus material. Sometimes they explain to you how they came up with the ideas for the stories. Pretty cool stuff. Now let's look at the back to see what stories are in here. In issues 31 to 59, so that's almost close to halfway of the series. It went about 170. This would be 60. This is 3 volumes, so 6 volumes would be about 120. So it's gonna be probably 7 volumes for the whole collection, which is pretty cool to have the whole collection in 7 books. Now, what stories are you gonna get in here? You're gonna get one of the stories is with Mark Silvestri and Larry Hama. Is Wolverine in Japan. Now, when he's in Japan, to me, comics are best when they use allegories and they tell you stories, but you're free to use your imagination to kind of fill in the blanks. It always works best that way. And that way you can also, it can mean one thing to me, the story can mean something different to you, and we can have a whole debate about it, and neither person will be wrong. Because comics, I heard a comic writer say this, and I totally 100 agree. He says, what's different from comics and movies, he goes, in comics, it's 70% we tell you a story, 30% we leave open for you to use your imagination. And he goes, in movies, it's kind of just straightforward, right? So I love that you get more creative in comics because you gotta blend it in with that superhero aspect. So in this story where Wolverine's in Japan, he's fighting the Yakuza and they're selling some type of drug. Again, it's comics, so it can't be heroin or cocaine or anything like that. So it's some type of plant that makes people hallucinate, and he's trying to stop these guys. Now you could use your imagination for that drug, for that drug, so you could fill in whatever you think it's referring to, whatever type of drug you think gives you this type of trip, right? So I like that. And then we have one here where this is actually X-Men issues, but they included him in here where he has it's a Mega Red's first appearance. He meets up with Wolverine. They have a vicious fight, and in this fight, Wolverine is poisoned, so he loses to Omega Red because he's fighting at like 50%, right? He's not 100% because he's been poisoned with something. And in that same fight, Omega Red looks vicious. It's the first time we're seeing him, and we're like, wow, he's handing Wolverine his ass. So this villain is cool, right? He immediately got hyped up, and he was created by Jim Lee. So we were like, oh man, this guy's badass. Like he was real cool at the time when he came out, and he was Russian. So there was a lot of stories and movies at that time where the big bad Russian is the big bad villain, right? So that was pretty cool. You get some good stuff here, some good material. And I rambled on enough about that. Once I finish reading it, I will do a full video dedicated to this specific book. I have a few more books coming over, so it's probably gonna be enough for another 2 videos or so. And I'm gonna try to bring these videos out maybe twice a week, right? I was gonna do one per week, but I think I'm gonna do twice per week because or else then the haul will be irrelevant if I do one a week. The last one will come out like a month later, right? So yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this haul, you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button, help out the channel. But more importantly, what's really important to me here is hit that subscribe button because the thing I like the most is the interaction, conversating with you guys, reading the comments. That's really why I do these videos, is to talk to other collectors that like the hobby, maybe read some of the same stuff, or to see what you guys are reading, right? Maybe you have something I haven't heard of and it might pique my interest based on your description, right? So okay guys, I think that's all I got to say today for this video, and I'd just like to thank you guys for checking out the video, and I'll check you guys out next time.